After anti-LGBTQ plus parents get school play canceled, students raise funds to produce it themselves. Students at Carroll High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana, announced last week that they would be putting on an independent production of the play canceled by the administration earlier that year. In March, Carroll High School announced that the spring play Marian, the True Tale of Robinhood would not be moving forward, and the new play would be chosen to take its place. The decision came following a few calls from parents who were concerned about certain aspects of the play, such as a non-binary character and a same-sex couple. Students started a petition to get the play reinstated, but despite garnering more than 5,000 signatures, a new spring play was chosen. But the students did not move on so easily. Not long after, some of the students from the Fort Wayne connected with Fort Wayne Pride, the organization that puts on pride events for the LGBTQ plus community, and began planning to put the play on independently. On Thursday, May 4th, students launched a crowdfunding campaign to pay for its play. In the first 12 hours, the campaign had reached $10,000, with a goal of $50,000. As of this broadcast, the students have raised nearly $80,000. In a video announcing the fundraising campaign, several students explained the importance of putting on Marian, regardless of a few parents who didn't agree with the LGBTQ plus characters.
This is Carroll. It's a public high school in the suburbs of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
It's where I go, and I go.
And I go.
Yeah, there's like 2,400 of us who go here.
Gay students, straight students, non-binary students, trans students, you get the picture.
Earlier this year, our drama teacher decided that our spring play should be something that made everyone feel welcome. So, she picked Marian, or the True Tale of Robinhood, which is a gender-bending take on the traditional story and has some queer themes.
The principal approved a special teen edition of the play, but a group of anti-LGBTQ parents decided they didn't want us to do it, so they called up the principal and told him not to. He got spooked and decided to cancel the play.
It felt like he was canceling us, all because some parents decided to be bullies. And the thing about bullies, as any teacher would tell you, is that you can't give in to them. What that does, it just emboldens them to keep doing it.
Maybe that's why adults have been bullying teachers, principals, and school boards all over the country.
No matter what the reason, we've decided to put on the canceled play ourselves, along with some supportive adults in the community. We've got to fight back against the bullies, especially since right now in Indiana, LGBTQ people are under attack. Our state lawmakers are trying to pass a series of bills that ban gender-affirming care, don't let teachers or students say gay in the classroom, and block attempts to ban conversion therapy.
But here's the thing. We can't put on this play without your help. It turns out plays cost a lot of money, especially when you have to rent out the venue yourself, cover all the production and insurance costs, and you only have 3 weeks to rehearse the show.
Yeah, 3 weeks. It's crazy, we know. But even crazier is not standing up to the bullies, and that's not going to happen. We want to show them and other people like them around the country that their tactics aren't going to work anymore.
We're not going to let them cancel our play. We're going to put it on anyway and make it amazing. That's why we made this video, to ask you for your financial support.
We can't change everyone's mind, but we can put on our play. We can make everyone at our school and in our town feel welcome, and that's what we're going to do.
Yes, children. That was amazing. Do we find new anchors for Queer News Tonight right there? Sure. I mean, first of all, props to the drama teacher for recognizing her students and meeting them where they're at and saying, I want all of you to feel included. And it is shameful that, again, we're talking about the same things over and over again. We're in 2023. Children, young people, it is hard enough to find your own self-identity when you're going through that age. And you have like all of these outside influences on you. You have home, sometimes you have religion, sometimes just family culture, and it is impactful on you finding who you are. The last place that needs to be a hindrance to children developing and finding themselves is the educational platform, it should be a very safe space for all of them to express who they are and learn how to express themselves in an environment that's social and is full of diversity, you know?
And furthermore, the arts, you know, I mean, the arts have always been a vehicle for us to express ourselves and to show who we are. So it's just more erasure, you know, as far as attempts of erasure. But our kids are strong. Being on the board of directors for Safe Schools South Florida, we work with our high school kids primarily and college, university kids, and they are not going to take shit from anyone.
Good.
They are strong, and I'm learning a lot of lessons from our youth about standing up and not living in fear. I think I was growing up in a time where you kind of had to like keep quiet. You couldn't really say anything. But I think these kids are reigniting in all of us that spark that we do have to stand up, you know, with caution, as I always say.
Absolutely.
You know, but we do have to stand up.
Well,
So good for them.
we have to remind ourselves that when I came out in the late 80s, and the world was different then. We were battling HIV and AIDS, and we were battling politics in general. The religious aspects we weren't battling as much because it was just implied. But we've made such great strides in the community that I think the community at large has become a little complacent and also a little self-absorbed and protective because we have so many gay cities like Wilton Manors and different pockets of New York City and different pockets of San Francisco and some of these
West
larger.
Hollywood.
Yeah. So I think that this little video with the students saying enough's enough, it really reminds the community at large that we gotta pay attention and be a little more politically involved. We have to educate ourselves to be able to explain what we're asking for. You know, we've done a bad job explaining why we use the word marriage. We don't use the word marriage because we want the religious aspects. We use it because that's how the federal government has defined all the rights that we are receiving or requesting through the idea of marriage. So it's a legal definition rather than a religious one. But the religious community has twisted that so that it is only a religious aspect. And it's like, no, you're wrong.
Well, one thing for sure, no one's going to silence Gen Z.
Well, that's right.
We're pissed off.
You're right.
We're fed up. And no one's going to keep us quiet. Not Ron DeSantis, not Donald Trump, not no Republican.
But we need to work together. The older generation, all the different generations
what it
of the
is?
community needs to work together.
I think that there's a level that you mentioned complacency. I think a lot of that it goes back to privilege. People feel comfortable. We got gay marriage. Let's sit down and be quiet. And we got what we want. But those hard fought for rights, they can be taken back just as easily. I mean, marriage equality, that was just 7 years ago. The fight's not over. We still have to fight for other parts of our community, and then remember that it's all an intersectional battle at the end of the day, and everyone's freedom is really intertwined. And you can't, ignore the fight for Black rights. You can't ignore the fight for trans rights. You can't ignore the fight for just everybody. And so I think that's what Gen Z is doing right now, is we're recognizing that really our future. I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of people older than us in the community are just kind of selfish. We got ours. We got marriage equality. Doesn't impact me. I mean, literally, if I decide to get married in 15, 20 years, who knows? That may not even be an option for me.
Right.
This might not be a thing.
Certain things you didn't think we were going to ever have to question again, but Roe v. Wade, I mean, listening to ex-military guy get up and talk about the ban on books in schools. He said something, I pledged myself to fight against terrorists, domestic and abroad, and that is religious fanatics, domestic and abroad. And he said, honestly, I never thought that I would have to fight against religious fanatics trying to infiltrate the government and the country that I serve. I fought for everyone's freedom of religion. That should not be involved in government. That was already established a long time ago. And right now we have the extreme Christian right. And I was a pastor's kid growing up, and I still have my own faith, but the extreme Christian right is swinging hard and swinging as wide as they possibly can and going after everything they can.
But they're doing the divide and conquer thing. That's why they're going after, transgendered community, which represents, I've heard, as little as 0.06% of the population. So you're going after the easy, low-hanging.
Yeah, they lost the fight against the LGBTQ community
so they're
as a
out.
whole. So let's find the most vulnerable community, go after them and demonize them because our voice is louder and we have more people.
But that's why I keep saying we need to educate, because it's fear, it's the lack of knowledge, it's the misinformation, it's the bold-faced lies, it's all of that, along with racism and all these other little aspects that are going into it. We have to, as a community, educate ourselves so that we can do a speech to anybody and everybody saying, we are no different than you. We have the same rights as you. It is guaranteed by certain doctrines in the basis of the United States. And, we're not asking for anything that anybody else doesn't have. And it's not like it's a pie where there's only so many pieces. There's plenty of room. If you have those rights, he can have those rights. And I can have those rights. Nobody loses the rights.
as a trans woman living in 2023, I feel as if I'm walking around with a defined target on my back, not just the target. So what's happened with all this anti-trans rhetoric is it's defined. And I love what these kids are doing. They're like, we will not let you to define us, whether you're non-binary, trans, whatever you are. So kudos to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.